Talking about Mondami winning in New York yesterday, that was a huge win for somebody who classifies himself as a democratic socialist rather than the typical Democrat philosophy that we have in the U.S. And it was a resounding win because he got, I believe, around 52% of the vote, running against two other candidates. And I think the New York population is sending a very clear signal to the current administration that they will not put up anymore with shifting economic resources from the poor and the middle classes to the wealthy. They are the primary point of his campaign was affordability of food, affordability of housing, affordability of transportation in the city, and basically all around how can we make the life of New Yorkers more affordable than it has been. And by the way, inflation has been rising very rapidly in the New York City, more than any other place in the country practically. And that hurts the working class mostly. And that's what the results show. I think the voting all across the nation, including my own city, shifted leaderships from Republicans to Democrats. The signal to the Republican Party is that you have to change. You have to stop what you're doing. You got to open up the government and take into account the needs of those that are obviously very upset with the policies of President and the Republican Party. President Trump, of course, was in favor of Cuomo because he's a more moderate Democrat of the past, although he ran as an independent because of the primary was won by Mondami. He threatened that he will cut resources to New York so that New Yorkers will take that into account and vote against Mondami, but that didn't happen. Mondami got more votes than the polls were showing before the election. And President Trump his policy making and thinking is always to threaten people and to threaten governments to get his way, and it's not working that way, obviously. The budget crisis, which has closed down parts of the American government because the government agencies that have shut down are not funded at this point until the Congress passes the continuous resolution for funding. It has affected, again, primarily those that depend on government for survival. For example, we have a program called SNAP, which is also called as the food stamps program that supports about, I think, if I'm not wrong, tens of millions of people who earn income, but their income is not enough to even provide enough food on the table. And the SNAP program, SNAP, has effective November 1st, has shut down completely. And these tens of millions of people are not going to have enough food on the table unless they get support from special organizations or individuals that they know. So that affected the election, and it made people even more angry, not only Democrats, it made especially independents in the U.S., that's the third party, basically. We call them independents. Democrats and other Republicans, they voted by a large margin for the Democratic candidates because they did not like the intervention of that hurts people and also the authoritarian approach to government. There's no question about it. Even this morning, he was interviewed by the national media. He himself said that what happened yesterday is a very bad signal for us, meaning the Republicans, and we have to do something about it. And I think he implied that they should rethink their policy relating to keeping the government closed. He's worried, and the signals are very clear. You keep this policy up, and next year when they have congressional elections, those are even more important because that will affect who will become the Speaker of the House, the President of the House of Representatives, and the Senate. And the predictions right now after this election is that if nothing major changes, that next year a lot of congressmen who are Republicans will lose their seats and will go to the Democrats.
Stay informed on the world's shifting power. Subscribe to the Watchtower Report, where strategy meets reality.